Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. Devastation for Alistair Johnston as Canada go out the World Cup with a 3-0 defeat from Morocco. Got to say, I expected more from Canada. There's one good thing. I will give Alistair Johnston some credit. He did do... Oh, Jesus, look at that on... That shouldn't be there. That should be hidden. That should be hidden. Anyway, I need to sort that out. Yes, Canada, 3-0 defeat. Alistair Johnston. When did Alistair Johnston become a long ball throw specialist? Is that something that Celtic can utilise in the season ahead? And has Alistair Johnston done enough to warrant anyone coming in for him in this summer transfer window? I hope not. Personally, I don't think that Alistair Johnston has improved as much a player over the last couple of seasons. He's at a high level. He's kind of been consistent at the level that he plays. I don't think he's improved enough to warrant somebody coming in with a 15-20 million pound offer for Alistair Johnston. But you never know in football. One player that is causing attention, one player that's coming into the end of his contract at Celtic, he's got 1 year left, is Daizen Maeda. Now, we all know that Daizen Maeda wants to leave Celtic. We all know that Daizen Maeda had a fantastic World Cup. He scored 3 goals in the World Cup. Brentford are currently leading the race. Daizen Maeda has serious interest from the English Premier League, with Brentford leading the race. Also, it's been claimed that Nottingham Forest, Fulham and Everton hold an intense interest in the 28-year-old. So reports are saying that Celtic are looking for in the region of 15 to 20 million for Daizen Maeda. 15 to 20 million. I think that that's a fair price for Daizen going into the final year of his contract. It's a fantastic piece of business. We could have got a lot more for Daizen Maeda last summer if we'd managed to move him on. It would be interesting. It's never came out how much was on the table from Wolfsburg. That's one thing that's never came out of Celtic. How much Wolfsburg were prepared to pay for Daizen Maeda straight after he had a 33-goal season. Our team's now thinking they can get Daizen Maeda on the cheap, and 15 to 20 million for someone that scored 3 goals at the World Cup. That's pocket change, isn't it? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comment section with this news tonight. AJ isn't going anywhere simply because his injury record last season. Didn't know the Baz was going into extra time tonight. Yeah, I just jumped on because the live for the watch along finished prematurely as the software, something happened. No idea. The cats pulled the cable and everything just collapsed. And then when I seen that Daizen Maeda, it doesn't look like we're going to see Daizen Maeda back in training. I think that there will be a deal done whilst he is still away from Celtic. And it's just wait and see what happens with the Arne Engels on. When you look at Arne Engels in the training pictures and the training videos coming out of Celtic, Arne Engels looks really happy at Celtic. Can Martin O'Neill convince him to stay because we get into the Champions League? It all depends, doesn't it? Let's jump into the comments and see what it's saying about the result for Canada. We should be definitely using Johnson's long ball. Don't know why we haven't been. Is this something new that he's brought into his game for the World Cup? Is it something that the Canada boss... Canada had nothing up front, were clueless when they got into I don't think that they were clueless, Dexter. I think it was the fact that Morocco were that organised. I mean, as soon as Canada got anywhere near the box, the Moroccans just went back in numbers. And Canada were scared of the Moroccans' pace, which was proved in the second half. Canada did come in the second half. The downside for Alistair Johnston, the manager made him come in from the wing and put him into the inverted Greg Taylor type role. And Alistair Johnston doesn't do well in that position. I think Alistair Johnston's position, he did some fantastic passes when he was out on the wing, pinpoint passes forward, so things that he played at a level that he doesn't play at for Celtic. There was lots of positives to take from Alistair Johnston. Let's just hope that he is a player that does not have anyone coming in for him this summer. Ross McCormack was talking on Open Goal, said Fulham have sent something, mentioned Johnson as a target. Both Fulham along with the Canadian midfield player. Well, let's hope that they don't. Talking about Daizen Maeda, his work rate alone is worth about 25 million. 1 year left on his contract. Can Celtic really command such a high fee for a player that's only got 1 year left on his contract? It's not about the outs, it's about the ins we need, says Dave Morton. Wait till they're sold. It's all speculation, says Duncan. It's speculation that's coming from media sources down south now that I would suggest that it's looking like Daizen Maeda will go to the English Premier League, which will be a slap in the face to Daizen Maeda, to Kyogo Furuhashi. Kyogo Furuhashi stole the headlines for such a long time at Celtic. You know, Kyogo was the man that was invincible, if you like. He was the man that could do no wrong in the eyes of Celtic fans. He was sold because he wanted to get away from Celtic and he wanted to play at a higher level. He was sold after Celtic in the Champions League game, and we still had one game to go in the Champions League, remember? But he said he wanted away and he was gone. He was away to Rennes. That didn't work out for Kyogo Furuhashi. Daizen Maeda, he offers you more in the fact that he's got the pace as a winger, but you can also play him as a striker, and he does have that goal threat. 15 to 20 million, I think that Celtic will hold out for the 20 million. If Celtic have already banked £5 million already. They have sold Lewis Palmer, and they have sold Hateo and Amura already for £5 million. If they sell Daizen Maeda for 20 million, that'll be 25 million in the door. If they then go on to sell Arne Engels for 25 million, that will be 50 million pounds that Celtic will bring in this window. If Celtic go out and spend 30 million, they're 20 million in profit come the end of the transfer window. And that's the type of thing that I could see happening. I would like to build a team around Arne. Can Celtic keep him though? I think if we get into the Champions League, I think that there's a big chance that Celtic might be able to hold on to Arne Engels. But comes with a caveat. We will be selling Rio Hatate. We know that we need improvements in the midfield. What if an offer comes in for Benji Negrin? He had a reasonably good World Cup also. No problem with Maeda moving on. Quarter of a season turning up. 40 million, many thanks, but see you. I don't think he's going to be there. Canada are rotten, says Dave Martin. Cost 40 million. Different side in the second half, Morocco. Yes, they were. They just upped the game, didn't they? Alistair Johnston was in the FIFA team of groups with some big players. Yes, he was in the last World Cup. Alistair Johnston was one of the better players at the World Cup. Now, Alistair Johnston tonight, he was only rated 5.8. Let me see if this works. It does. Alistair Johnston was rated 5.8. Not one of the better Canada players tonight. None of the Canada players did well, to be fair. Canada looked a bit lost going forward. But I think Alistair Johnston, when he came from this position and he started playing in here, I thought he was woeful. You know, he needs to stay out there. And the long ball throw-ins, is that something that Celtic can utilise going forward next season? I definitely hope so. Because you've got to remember, Martin O'Neill would be watching that game tonight and he'd be thinking, that's some throw-in for Alistair Johnston. You've then got the new guy that came from Hearts, the set-piece specialist. He'll be watching that game tonight and he'll be going, we could really use Ali Johnston in some fantastic pieces up front. Do you know? So I think building around the likes of Alistair Johnston, if we can keep Arne Engels, but I don't think that we will. We'll just need to see. Canada lacked quality in the final third. Canada were very disappointing. I think Morocco looked solid, right enough. I think it was a funny game. Having watched it, didn't watch along on another channel. It was. It looked to be an exciting game. The pace in the first 10 minutes was electric. It wasn't a pace that I expected from an international game. And then it became a midfield battle, didn't it? And when you look at the stats, even when you got to half time and you looked at the stats at half time, the possession wise, I think it was 60%, 60 odd percent possession for Morocco. Even Morocco had only had one shot on goal at that time, and that was a long range effort. But the pass accuracy from Morocco was at 89% or something, which was fantastic. So you could see Morocco going on in the second half. Canada were woeful in front of goals. I think Alistair Johnston had the best shot. He had a header in the first half. And I think if Canada gets one of their chances away, you've got to put them in. At that level, you've got to put them in. But anyway, we move on from it because it's game over for Alistair Johnston. Tomorrow, the Canada team will all fly off on their individual thingies to go on holiday. Alistair Johnston will get a week or 2 weeks. 2 weeks off. When you look at that time scale, it means that Alistair Johnston will be back for Celtic in training. And Celtic did announce today as well that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain on a new 1-year deal. Watch the official Celtic app story. Watch here. Let's go into that because we did talk about it this morning that it was going to happen. Celtic are delighted to announce that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has signed a new 1-year deal with the club. The England international joined the Scottish champions in February, and he made his goal-scoring debut for the Hoops with a stunning last-minute winner against Livingston at Celtic Park. The 32-year-old went to play his part in Celtic's dramatic double, making 12 appearances and also scoring the only goal in a 1-0 win at home over St Mirren. Martin O'Neill's side head out to Ireland this weekend, so it must be Saturday or Sunday they're flying out, so they're getting a couple of days in Ireland. They play Shelbourne on Tuesday. Then they go into a training camp in Portugal when Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain will join up with the squad. As I said this morning, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has been training in Portugal. I think that was the telltale signs, wasn't it? We should have put 2 and 2 together, and we didn't. You know, Celtic are going to Portugal for a training camp. Oxlade-Chamberlain is training in Portugal, which, if the deal was going to get done, it was easier for him to just go, right, I'm going for Portugal to the training camp. Anyway, Oxlade-Chamberlain says, I am delighted to be staying for at Celtic for another year, even though there was a lot of speculation that he was had his hand behind his back and he was forced to sign the contract by Martin O'Neill. It was an incredible time last season to be part of the success, and winning league and Scottish Cup was so special. I'm really excited to be back, and I'm looking forward to meeting up with the boys and getting to work ahead of what will hopefully be another successful season at Celtic. That was Oxlade-Chamberlain. When we look at the fixtures and we look at the players that are now no longer at the World Cup, Celtic obviously play the next. There's only 2 days. 2 days and 21 hours until Celtic play their first game, pre-season game. That's it. It's time to get all excited. Tuesday night. Oh, we need to watch along on Tuesday night. Hopefully there's no international football on that will clash with that game. First watch along of the pre-season. Get in there. Well, they're always woeful games, but it will be exciting to watch. And then we head to the Algarve. We're all off to the Algarve to Portugal to watch Celtic Sporting on the 14th. Will any players be back for that game? Is it going to be too early? Or will Celtic be looking to get the likes of Kieran Tierney and who else is... well, there's quite a few players that came out at the first stage. They'll be looking to get them back for the pre-season game against Middlesbrough. after their couple of week break. So that's 14 days from now. Will Alistair Johnston be back for that game, or will Alistair Johnston only make the game against AC Milan on the 25th of July if he's given 2 weeks off? They're more likely that that will happen. Will he be given 2 weeks, or will he only get a week off? Will he get a week off? Pardon the pun. Anyway, let's jump back up onto this screen. Canada were really poor. They could not score. Alfie Divine deal almost complete. 6 million, says the wee scout. We'll wait and see on that one. Maeda only scored 1 goal. Work rate is what got everyone talking about. I'm shit at the horses. Don't know where that come from. Going to jump through the comments. Apologies if I've not read them. Switzerland versus Colombia at that time, says Liam. I'll not be watching that. That's for definite. Celtic's back in town. Anyway, he'll not take part in any of these games. Talking about Alistair Johnson. The watch-alongs are back. Yes, the watch-alongs will be back on the Celtic channel as of Tuesday. Get in! Get in! And hopefully I'll have all this all sorted out. To see the changes. And hopefully I'll have all this sorted out. Yeah, that shouldn't be here. That shouldn't be there. Just saying. Anyway, that is your Celtic transfer news update tonight. Brentford are leading the race for Daizen Maeda as it stands, with reports coming out of England that there is numerous English clubs racing to sign the Celtic forward. Celtic are looking between 15 to 20 million for the player. How much will they get? I'm hoping it's nearer the 20 million mark. Canada get put out the World Cup this evening with 3 goals against Morocco. Morocco scored in the 50th minute, straight after half time. You could see it coming. The 82nd minute goal, Morocco just... Canada were all over the place, and Morocco done Canada for pace. And then it was a sucker punch on the 98th minute. 8th minute into extra time was the sucker punch for Canada, and they go home. Camilo Duran's agent is in Scotland. It's been alleged by PG 1888. Told you it'll be a busy week next week. Did say it. Anyway, that's me done and dusted. Duncan Disorderly. Duncan Disorderly. I'm just waiting for the first Duran Duran song. I wonder what Duran Duran's song will be his anthem at Celtic. Well, let's look at Duran Duran's songs just before we finish up this evening, and then place a bet. Duran Duran. What anthem of their songs? The Reflex. Will it be the Planet Earth? Give it all up, friends of mine. I'm not be that. Show for what happens tomorrow's. I have no idea. I'm sure that someone in the Green Brigade will come up with a Duran Duran song. Hungry Like the Wolf. Will it be that? I don't know. You're talking about 1981 and stuff. 1982. I was just a lad. Anyway, right, that has me done and dusted for this. He's Hungry Like the Wolf. It's got to be, isn't it? That will be the song. And why is that up there? I've just noticed. What is that doing there? God, there's things that I need to sort out with the programming. Anyway, A View to a Kill. Whoa. No, because that's James Bond. That's 007. That's British establishment stuff. Can't he be singing that at Celtic Park? Surely not. Right, that's me done and dusted for this evening. Thank you very much to everyone who has been on this unscheduled live this evening. Big news is that Alistair Johnson is out of World Cup, and the other big news is it looks like that Daizen Maeda will be signing for a team in the English Premier League. Have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the Pink Panther theme. Oh, chance.